Hi. I thought I'd just do a little walkthrough of some stuff that I found about. I think it's the best explanation for Einstein, and that shows why Lewe and Reynolds then stand on Einstein. Right? So Einstein is a coordinate system. That's what I'm going to try to explain. So here we go. Reynolds says that the world, the ether, is made up of grains of perfect spheres, and they're arranged in molar geometry. So you can imagine this is one grain of the ether. Lewe explains the mechanism in the center, and I've got that elsewhere. The yin yang, you can see that from above. That's a yin yang, and that shows the twin standing vortex of the north and south poles misaligned. Okay, so that's the actual entity of water that's created. That's a molecule of water, but not a molecule as we understand it with H2O, a molecule of strength of water. And it has this forces inside it. It has expansive force from the dot point, and it has viscous forces in its membrane. So the membrane forces are greater than the expansive forces for a moment of dilation of time, and that's measured by H Newton meter second squared and H real seconds. So it's a duration of 6.6260715 currently. In real seconds is the duration of this membrane force, and all these actions take place within that tiny duration, the buzz of the tectonic plates of the planet. Okay, and so Einstein is a way of seeing this motion, freezing it, and so, so this is what you see Einstein through four-dimensionally, let's say, in space. So from the side, you're seeing a simple model now of two-dimensional. I'm showing how you've got, this is c meters per second and meters per second. So inside you get c squared, but you can't see anything. You've actually fixed the corners. You're seeing the cube, the block universe that creates the blocks of space-time. You can imagine a membrane of space-time, as they show it now, curving, is made from these blocks. Yeah. And so what are those blocks? The blocks are the love waves. And so if you take a love wave of it goes, here's the love wave motion, sawtooth motion. You can see that, in fact, the height is achieved. This is seconds squared. So the base is seconds squared. So that's seconds squared, and that's meters per second squared. So you can see that at the center of the pyramid of the hypercube structure that's created from Einstein's fixed speed of light, the corners, the hypercube tesseract arrangement creates a pyramid at the base. A natural pyramid is formed where the meter over infinitesimal time is the force that remains. And so that force now is created from twist. So right there, at the center of the hypercube, there must be twist. And that twist then is explained by Viktor Lewe's iconic architecture. Here it is. So you're zooming in effectively, zooming in, and then you're going to get that at the point where it meets of the twist. And there's an actual break there at the center of -1 clockwise, part of a clockwise rotation, a tiny part. How big a part? 6.6260715 real seconds is created. So -1 is the clockwise motion of time, the arrow of time overall. But it's created by the two anti-clockwise twists, 4 to 2 anti-clockwise twists, that this cavitation appears here under the cone. So you have the force, solid force, but the force of cavitation is within the solid water. At the tip, solid water, real entity, is created there at the tip of the pyramid. Real water is added from the outside of the universe. And you can bring it into the concrete tanks now, easy. And so this is why concrete tanks are important. With the PCA 1993, you can replace these heights, 1 to 10, with coefficients, and you'll see the dynamic load revealed. Those Portland Cement Association tables, oh look, here they are. Brilliant, I've actually got a copy of them. Let me show you what I mean. So these tables, zoom in, right, represent the height up the concrete tank, right? And so from 0 to 1, height, you get a read off 0 to 1 height, yeah, and then depending on the balance between ring tension and bending, you get different values. Now these have been doctored, so on this side at the 0.9 height of the base, you don't see the bending. The dynamic force, you add it here, look, negative numbers are appearing where there are positive numbers in the table when you rebuild them using Viktor Lewe's 1906 dissertation. So a small walkthrough, probably a mess, but I'm going to post it up anyway because it's my first effort of explaining why Osborne-Reynolds, the granular ether, is explained as a normal piling of arrangements where they're stacked in the interstices, compressed, creates a single layer, flower of life, two-dimensional geometry, but that geometry contains acceleration, naturally contains acceleration, as we showed here. Yeah, from there, the geometry of the two forces of bending and ring tension creates acceleration, and that creates speed, and that creates momentum. So the meter of Einstein's meter that we just took, that height of the pyramid is set there, the meter over infinitesimal time. It's the force. The force is meter potential. Welcome to the future. Osborne-Reynolds 1903, Viktor Lewe 1906, 1523, 1993, Portland Cement Association, Domon Golgate, circular concrete tanks without pre-stressing, and the future begins.